Okay, let's get into it. So, coming into today here, pre-market plan. Uh, where is this? As you can see, right? So coming into today, market looks very strong here on this recovery bounce. Sorry for the typo. We ended up having positive news regarding this war coming into market open. Basically, Iran saying we're going to halt attacks on Israel. Nevertheless, positive news on the war. So we are still very bullish on the higher time frame. And as we know, these dips have been getting bought up very aggressively. So coming in today's session for SPY, 744 is going to be our key level here to determine what we do. If we can get over 744, which we're pretty much doing right now during the pre-market, we can see a push back up into 752, also the previous day high. And if we reject 744, we can see a pullback down into previous day low in 731. But so far, pretty much already a 50% recovery after that sell-off on Friday. So right now, buyers are very, very present here during the pre-market. As for QQQ, I would keep an eye out on 722. If we can get over that, we can see a push back up into the top of the range and the previous day high. As for most tech names, today will really just be a recovery day. There's not many plays to the upside that I see coming into today's session. If you watch that weekly outlook in the pre-market plan, the main game plan coming into today was that continuation lower, getting under the previous week's low candle. And like SPY and Qs, a lot of these things bounce, which is fine, right? So we had a very large sell-off on Friday. So today's just really a recovery day to see, okay, what's going to set up going into tomorrow and the following day. Apple is the only name, tech name that I like to the downside. If this does set up, it's a range break. So shorts under 307, you're also getting under that previous day low and that previous week's low. So that looks really good on Apple. I'll show you that here in a sec. And then I'm just really watching SPY and Qs for today. For Qs, long over 722, and for SPYs, long over 744, as I mentioned here. So as you can see here on Apple, kilo being respected during the after hours in the pre-market, which is exactly what you want to see. And it's a range break. So if we can get this set up here on Apple, I do like it to the downside. That's really the only tech name that I like here coming into today. If you look at SPY here, we're trying to get over 744. That's why I said this is going to be the key line in the sand. Either we're going to reject it or buyers are going to get over it. And we can see this push back up here to the top of the range here, previous day high, pre-market high. But you can see so far a very nice, strong bounce here after, yeah, during the after hours and so far during the pre-market, very, very strong. So if we reject that, I'm pretty much hands off here and we can see a pullback back down to the bottom of the range for QQQ. Right, I will be watching this as well for a long break and retest over 722. One of my favorite plays coming into today, right? You can see it's making its way higher. Let's see if buyers can stay in control. So 722 is going to be that key line in the sand. We can target this previous day high. That would be a nice V-shaped recovery. Unmitigated liquidity, which is at this previous day high from Friday. And we're still very, very bullish on the higher time frame here on Qs. Now, as for Tesla, really nothing here that I see. Right? Just a range break, like I said. So either we're going to get shorts under 383 or longs over 416. You can see here inside bar day to start the day. So really not much that I like here on Tesla. Don't really care to take a trade off of 395 just based on where it's sitting. We know Tesla, right? A lot of fake outs have been setting up, still in a range here. So as long as we don't hit 416 or 383, I'm pretty much just hands off here on Tesla. Nvidia, right, bounced at the bottom of the range, held our key level, bottom of the range, 203. So as you can see here, inside bar day, dead smack in the middle of the range, dead smack in between the PDH and the PDL. So there's really no setup here for me on NVIDIA. That's why I'm mainly just watching SPY and Q. So I'm really not expecting too much today, at least from the tech names. Amazon, right? Definitely look for this pop and fade off of 248. That is definitely a valid play. We talked about this in the weekly outlook. This is just continuation lower. You can see we turned this weekly 256 into resistance 2 days in a row, respected that, making our way lower. So pop and fade off of 248 here on Amazon. And then we'll see what's up on Google. Well, never mind. Google looked fairly strong here pre-market, but you can see we're getting slapped in the face now. So really not much that I like. So I will be watching SPY over 744. You can see our key level being respected right now. And then I will be watching Qs here over 722. So we got about 30 seconds here till market opens. And then for those who do not know, if you're joining in, I'm always watching the 15-minute time frame. I have three monitors to my left and to my right. So Yeah. So we get a retest here on SPY. Definitely watch Apple here. We get over this 317. Yeah, Apple's showing some relative strength here. It's, 269, 278. Yeah, Apple's the only name showing relative strength right now. Yeah, super strong bounce here on Apple. Pretty much out that bottom of the range. Market's pulling back right now. Nothing is really sitting near a key level. That's why it's always very important to just zoom out. Just helps. So you can see SPY and Qs nowhere near a key level. We had such a big day on Friday. So really nothing there, at least to the downside. And then even if we do break the range, very extended at that point. As for now, my main focus here is really just Apple. It is showing some relative strength compared to the market. You can see Apple very, very strong. We already got above. Did we sweep the previous day high? On the dot, actually, which is crazy. So, so like I said, pre-market, right? 744 is going to be the key line in this end, and you can see we ended up getting that pop and fade rejection, and now we're making our way back down. So reaction right off our key level. Morning dips happening, getting bought up here on this market. Still very bullish on the higher time frame, so we'll wait and see. A very large gap up actually. So if this market's pulling back, keep in mind, we gapped up tremendously here during the after hours and pre-market. So this pullback to the downside is really a gap fill, but we'll see if we can get this morning dip here. see here. And Q's is right there. I was hoping we get that blow off top over 722. So everything's still in a range here. I just showed you Apple, so Apple's definitely just rejecting here. Still stuck in this channel on Apple. Still stuck in this range here on Apple. Um, yeah, not really seeing too much. Tesla under 395, just not a high probability shot to me. It's still an inside bar day. It'd be very different if it was like also the previous day low. Market is pulling back. Tesla's very big on fake outs right now. You can see not even the cleanest price action so far on Tesla. But what do you notice? 395 being respected beautifully. That's actually something that I love to see here. So did our job, found the key level, being respected, tested 3 times now. But a trade that I would skip just because context reference, as I always say. And then NVIDIA, right, sitting in this range as well. So fairly easy here, just letting our trade come to us. Nothing here on NVIDIA. Dead smack in the middle of the range, actually, in between the PDH and PDL2. So like I said, it really wasn't much that I saw coming into today on this overall market that I really liked. Yeah, very nice hold here on 395 on Tesla. Very, very nice hold. Tesla's actually trying to show some relative strength compared to the market. Beautiful rejection on SPY off that 744. Right, we saw these reactions during pre-market, and then you see we got that push up into it, and then seller stepped in. So key level being respected on the dot there. Like I said, that was the key line in the sand. We rejected that pretty much hands off. So yeah, super strong hold here on Tesla. Kind of, well, definitely strong relative strength compared to the market. You can see the market, even though it's pulling back, look how green it is. Right, we had a very large gap of recovery here. So kind of just seeing this gap fill back to the downside. Still too early to tell. Key levels being respected, but you can see it's still very green on this overall market. That should show you how strong that gap up and recovery bounce was. Starting the week off with an inside bar week, an inside bar day, right? So when you think about those things, really not a high probability day. And maybe if SPY and Qs can find some intraday support, which it's trying, we'll see. Then we can see some upside. I would say Qs is a little heavier here than SPY. If you're looking at the 15 minute, nice. When we get over this high of day, right, we can definitely see some upside. Like I said, we've noticed a pattern here of these dips just get bought up so aggressively. So when we're in a very bullish market like we are and we keep trending, when I see the morning dip, I just see are people covering or people getting out of their positions. And then what do? Right? Those retail traders who are also trying to time the highs, they get squeezed out of their positions for a loss. And what does that do? That fuels that move higher. So that's why you never really want to chase the morning dip, especially on a name that is just trending very, very aggressively to the upside, which is pretty much the overall market. Because based on where we're sitting, we pretty much have already gotten a 50% recovery from that sell off here on Friday. I think if SPY can get over 744, we can see some upside. I don't know why that popped out. And then maybe we're just pretty extended too. They had a big move after I was in pre-market, so if anything, that kind of explains the crappy price action. As you can see here, not the best price action on SPY and Qs. So okay, so SPY is looking a little bit stronger here compared to the Qs, like I said. Okay, so this pop got shorted pretty aggressively here. Hmm. It's like a clear supply area here. Okay, so yeah, dip got bought up pretty aggressively here. I'm sorry, not dip. This pop got shorted pretty aggressively here. So very strong relative strength here on Tesla. But to be the strongest right now. Yeah, 744 is like a decent supply area. You can see Q is like rejecting this general area here on the intraday. If anything, though, these reactions off of 744 make me more intrigued. So some broke out of the zone, pushed up what? Almost $2. Seven. can get like an intraday setup here on Tesla. I just like this hold for 395. You can see here, very nice hold. If I can get like an intraday setup here, uh, I wouldn't mind giving that a shot just with the relative strength here. I would definitely cut my position size in half. It's not a higher time frame setup. So, I mean, the hold is a higher time frame setup, but Tesla's not trending, so I wouldn't be looking for a pullback long off of 395. But I do like the hold. I do like that, we are stair stepping higher. I do like the relative strength compared to the market. I do like us breaking through this high a day. So if we can tap back into this general area and then I can see strong buyer step up, I wouldn't mind it. I would just have a hard stop loss at 5%. So to each their own. Obviously, you can manage that how you want. I'll play with a zero. Both spine cues keep pushing up into this general area, getting slapped in the face. There's definitely nothing there. Crazy. It hasn't even been 30 minutes yet. It feels like forever. All right, so Q is definitely breaking through that low day. Spine making new lows on the day. Apple's still relatively strong compared to the market, just sitting nowhere near the key level. Um, Tesla pulling back with the market now. It's a great retest of this general area. I don't take retest entries off of wick candles. I mean, very strong hold. I mean, look how aggressive buyer stepped up here. Look at that. That's crazy. Dip got bought up pretty aggressively here on Tesla. I just I don't enter off of wicks. Just based on my own statistics, my own data. Uh, More losers than winners. I need that candle to closure, and then I like to enter on a fresh candle with strong momentum. Tighter stop, tighter risk, better RR. So beautiful hold though. I mean, that's literally turning resistance into support. Beautiful hold on Tesla. That's just too aggressive of an entry for me, especially with this market pulling back. Let's see here. And then when you look at SPY and Qs, it may seems like, we've done a lot of damage, still overall green on the day. And when you look at this is why I always say, if you just focus on your Q levels and then watch everything on the higher time frame until it's time to, take your setup, makes everything just move in slow motion. So when you look at the 15-minute here, yeah, we're pulling back, but not too much has really gone on. SPY's rejected, respected to 744, but really not too much going on. Like I said, Nvidia's still in the range. Tesla held 395 beautifully, as you can see. Apple in a range in a channel, so not much going on a Monday. The best setups look like this basically the gap and go continuation to the upside on SPY and Qs, and obviously we can get that. I have the right idea here on Tesla. Just I can't enter on that candle. Funny enough, I really wanted to play the breakout of this general area, but I was like, if it was a little bit cleaner price action, maybe. All right, so 30 minutes into the session. Nothing else too much. So let's see going on. Yeah, from the looks of it, maybe a cash day here. Yeah, nice out there on Tesla. Seen a video like making his way lower, but not much. Not 740. The thing is, SPY's really not that far away though from 744. Like this thing could really, I mean, that's a crazy dip buy on Tesla. I had the right idea, as you can see, but I did not like that wick. I'm not going to enter off that wick, especially with a zero, because then if it goes, red, green or red, kind of shot myself in the foot there. But beautiful here on Tesla. But the main objective is Tesla held its key level 395. Hmm. Yeah, most likely a cash day here. I'll give this like 7:30 or 8, which is kind of what we knew anyway. Right? I specified that during the close watch list. It's funny we got this. I mean, that's like I said, right now, the way I'm looking at it, we're really just filling the gap. We had a very big gap up and a very large gap. I'm sorry, we had a very big gap up and a very large move after hours. So even though we're pulling back here, I mean, the market is overall still very bullish, very strong in green here on the intraday. So we're really just filling the gap. Really haven't done too much, I would say. Um, we kind of knew this was coming anyway, just due to we had a very large move on Friday. So it's still an inside bar day. We're stuck in between, two key levels here on the higher time frame on SPY and Qs. So Apple looked good though. I thought we were gonna get Apple. I was ready for that. That looked good. You can see this general supply area here. Some people use zones, some people use key levels. I personally use key levels. My advice, if you ever use a general zone area, because I understand it makes it a little bit easier. Let's say you take a break and retest or break out of zone areas, you gotta have a hard stop. Right? When you have a key level, it's like that's pretty easy just to build your general thesis and then use that as your stop loss. But to use a general area zone as a stop loss, like that's very wide unless you size for zero. So my advice is you can trade off zones, but I would just have a hard stop loss percentage. That's the best way I would go about it. But you can see around this 315 area here on uh on Apple, very strong supply area. We ended up breaking out almost $2 actually, almost $2 with this 315, made new all-time highs last week. But you can see where the body of the candle ended up closing right around this 315 area. So 315, there's a lot of heavy sellers sitting up here. Some market structure here on Tesla. Not the cleanest price action, but solid. This beautiful stair step to the upside. I think at this point, the SPY gets over 744. Just don't like it anymore. Just due to the price action. Let's see here. Yeah, we don't have a hybrid voter or any news today. Announced end of military operations against Israel. Yeah. Oh, I forgot Kevin Marsh is taking over for Powell. I totally forgot about that. We did a lot of research on him. We'll see. Trump did not like Jerome Powell though. They did not like each other. Yeah, so as you can see here, pretty much a low probability day. Tesla definitely looked nice. Uh, not the best price action, kind of wiki, kind of all over the place here. That's kind of expected when we have such a large gap up or down. But I like it. I like it because now we kind of can set the tone here for SPY. This is why I said, if you watch that weekly outlook, kind of hit this on the nose, saying, hey, after a big day like that on Friday, now I need like a day or two to go by so we can see some daily candles set up here. And this is why I really like 744 and how we're, acting today. Because let's say the daily candle closes here under 744. All right, cool. So now, right, I know going into tomorrow, let's say, I love this setup. We're getting over the previous day high. We're getting over Monday's high, which is today. We'll be making new highs on the week. The key level that's been respected very well, as you can see. That's a confluence that I like to see. So the context matters there. We can see it push back up into the top of the range. So that's what I mean when I say, all right, we just need to let a day or two go by to see what actually sets up. Now, I mean, market hasn't even been open for an hour. We got the whole day left. So we know lately, Apple and Q's can definitely do something like that going into power hour. You know what I mean? So, but a lot of these names, like Nvidia, if Nvidia doesn't break this range today to the downside, which I don't think it will, um, really just no setup here on Nvidia. But then it's just a builder. I'm sorry, a Confluence that's just building up. If or when we get under 203, what we could see, it would no longer be an anti-bar week. Going into tomorrow would be under the previous day low as well. Confluence is here, right? That's a beautiful setup to the downside if that sets up. So that's why less is more. You let your trades come to you. Continue to build your thesis here. Um, Apple waiting for that range break. We know that. I said that coming into this week. Apple's done nothing but show relative strength compared to the overall market. I mean, look at the sell-off we had Friday, and then I showed you Apple as well on the daily and on the weekly time frame. Not the best price action, but definitely holding up against the overall market. That's for sure. Um, yeah, beautiful day here on Tesla. All you got to do is look left. You can see our key level 395 on the intraday being respected on Friday on the 19th of May. And then you can see here today just a beautiful pullback along off of 395. So solid there. Let's see what IWM did today. Even IWM held this range very, very well. All you got to do is look left, resistance, resistance, resistance. We turn it into support, still hold it in support. So something tomorrow you can look for on IWM. You'll be getting over the previous day high. Look at that, getting at the bottom of the range, targeting the top of the range. This name is still very, very bullish on the higher time frame. So just very, very simple here. Yeah, so definitely my call here at 7:30. Just a low probability day. Didn't expect too much today. I definitely wanted SPY and Qs, not gonna lie. Seeing this very strong open, I really, really wanted that. We could have got that. Boy, that would have been great. Boy, oh boy. Especially Qs as well over 722. That would look good. But there's always tomorrow. Remember that. There's always tomorrow. Yeah, funny enough, I'm kind of like 50-50 on it. If anything, I kind of wish we did stay heavy, to be honest. Like the market's so bullish, which is fine, right? For the long term. There's no complaints there. If you got your long-term portfolio, but we're still so extended. If you look at the weekly time frame, we're very, very extended. So it would have been nice to just have a pullback here on the overall market on some tech names. They've already completed their objective, made all-time highs. Just definitely would have been more higher time frame setups, uh, more key levels, range breaks. I mean, the list goes on. So that would have been nice, but we had a very, very nice recovery here. We have tomorrow. Tomorrow, Tuesday. Yeah, we don't have news tomorrow on Tuesday. So just Wednesday, pretty important actually, core PPI. Thursday, core PPI. Uh, and Friday's what for it. So decent amount of volatility here. So I'll give this to 7:30. Starting the week off with a cash day, which is a green day. Yeah, like if you at least when I first started trading, I definitely had like that problem of, you're so focused on the smaller time frame. When you look at moves like this or you see moves like this, it creates a little bit of FOMO, especially when it's around a key level and they look gigantic. You know what I mean? But then, when you peek over at the 15 minute and you just stay focused on the higher time frame, I think it's so important to really stay focused on the higher time frame when you're intraday trading, because at open on the 1 minute, 2 minute, those candles are very volatile and those moves look bigger than what they actually are. But when you focus on the 15 minute or the higher time frame and you just focus on your key level and you zoom out, it's very slow. It slows everything down. So when you look at this from the 15-minute perspective compared to the 1 minute or 2 minute, you realize like, yeah, not much has gone on. Our game plan played out, which was like, hey, if we see a pop and fade off of 744, we can see a pull back into the previous day low, right down to the bottom of the range. You can see that pretty much set up on the dot, but wasn't looking to short this. I was looking for that gap and go continuation. We didn't get it. So just a little tip there, if that's something you struggle with. I have been getting asked as well, like, why do I trade? I've been focused on the 1 minute. Same difference. If you're comfortable with the 2 minutes, stick with the 2 minute. I think 2 minute helps as well. If you have a tough time like executing very fast and getting in and out of your trades very fast, or having a tough time cutting your losses, stick to the 2 minute. Right, the 1 minute can be maybe too fast at first, but once you do it for so long, it just becomes very slow. So once you're like used to the 1 minute, and then let's say you switch over to the 2 minute, the 2 minute feels like you're watching grass grow. But same thing, right? Break and retest on every time frame. Same thing. Yeah. So Okay, so definitely going to call it here. Pretty much an hour here into market open. Nothing really looks like a high probability to move. As we can see across the board, it's kind of what it is anyway. We knew that kind of coming into today. Like I said already, my main focus was just buying cues. I really didn't get a setup there on buying cues. We didn't get that continuation to the upside, so that's fine. That's pretty much it. Not the best price action. You can see we've died down. Market's still very green overall. We had a very large move during the after hours and pre-market, so I'm not too surprised. Really nothing across the board on the tech names. Most tech names are just still sitting in a range, sitting in a channel. As you can see, right over over Tesla, Nvidia, Apple, Palantir, Sun Range, Microsoft, Hood. We went over all these things on the weekly outlook. So cash day for me. Starting the week off with that. Not trading is still trading and proper risk management. Today's a green day overall. Why? Follow your rules. Follow your rules. Less is more. As you guys always hear me say, do not let social media fool you. You know, with people posting gains every single day, all you need is 1 to 2 trades a week, right? Compound interest. Don't underestimate the power of that. Have a long-term mindset. You can average 2 to 3 trades a week, right? And you're those 2 to 3 trades a week. You know, you're coming out green on the end. That's all you need to have a very nice green month. Do not underestimate that. Less is really more. So just based on the PA and based on what we're sitting, I'm pretty much going to call it here. No longer a high probability environment, high probability trade, especially if you're messing around with a zero, like I was looking for on the spine cues. So good day today. I hope you guys were able to learn something. Uh, be safe, right? Remember, there's always tomorrow. The market's always going to be here. There's always tomorrow. So I will see you guys tomorrow morning.